Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do my first impressions on this knife. This is the Benchmade Mini Freek, and this was loaned to me by my buddy Joe. It's a local dude here. Been talking about him a lot lately. That's because we've been meeting up every week or every other week and having lunch and talking knives and passing knives back and forth. He also very much enjoys using his KME. It's therapy for him, so he puts a mean edge on a lot of knives, and he actually just did a couple for me, one of which is my Hoback knife Sumo. You can see there he put that mirrored edge on it. I'm actually currently selling this. Hopefully it's gone by the time this video posts, and honestly I love this knife. I've said this before, it would be in my top 3 knives in the collection of all time, even if for not one damn thing. These studs, when you pull it out of your pocket, they catch. And almost 90% of the time I take this out of my pocket, it Emerson deploys and I have a live knife in my hand. I can't do that, right? I do carry it in my back left pocket, so it may have a lot to do with that, because maybe with the clip the way it is, it leans, and then you pull it out and you're right on that seam and it grabs right here on these sharp little triangles, and bang, it comes out and fully deploys most times. So sadly, I have to move on from this beautiful, freaking amazing action knife. God, I'm gonna miss it. So that sucks, but it is what it is. I gotta move some stuff. So anyway, just having handled that for a second, this thing is super lightweight, guys. I mean, this has to be like near bug out weight. Just stupid lightweight. It's also not a big knife. It is a very small knife, which is okay. It still works. You can see here it has a reversible clip. Here, I'll take that Sumo back out so you can see it. Probably a similar size on the knife here. Yeah, I mean, even the Sumo is bigger than this. I think the Sumo has a 3 1/4. Actually, I did get something recently. It came with something I bought, and I figured I could use this measuring tape for the channel because I struggle to get measurements properly. So here we go. This will help us a little bit, right? So I don't like to do specs all the time, but I think it helps sometimes. So you're looking about a 3-inch blade from the scale to the tip. Overall, you're looking at, just trying to make sure I got that right on the tip there. It's kind of hard to see. You're looking at about under 7 inches. Is that right? Hold on. No, just 7 inches about on this guy. So, it's a very small knife for my intents and purposes. I like, 3.3 inches and above basically is my sweet spot. But anyway, so ergonomically, having a large glove size hand, it fits, but I mean, I have nothing sticking out. Essentially, it's very cramped down here, but it works, right? And then you kind of have this little choil area. If I owned one of these, I would probably figure out a way to get this into a choil, whether you cut in here or you trim this down. I don't know what that would affect. I guess I'd have to take a look. Don't think it would affect much if you kind of like just chop this. I don't know. But anyway, that's what I would do, and I just wouldn't buy one because of this. Honestly, the size just doesn't work for me personally. But having said that, if you like smaller knives, which a lot of people, especially when they first get into the hobby, they like smaller knives. I know I did. So this would be very good for that. It does ergonomically work for me. It's just not the most comfortable knife ever. I also feel that clip right in my palm. Now that it's switched over to the left side, so there's that. But it works. It has these carbon fiber scales, which is cool, and then it has S90V blade steel. We could take a super close look at it here with my handy dandy super camera from Apple. You can see here, just gorgeous carbon fiber. They did a good job choosing this carbon fiber. It is your kind of standard weave, but it just kind of has a nicer pop to it than I think a lot of standard weave carbon fiber does. Here's your blade with the Benchmade logo. You can see here maybe 565 USA made. Nice red thumb studs. There's that mirror edge I was talking about. Flip it over. S90V steel. You have a flat grind or saber grind. Very well done. Pretty relatively thin behind the edge on this guy. It's not like, you know, the greatest ever, but it's certainly not the worst. They did a great job on it. And here's the other scale. Here's your barrel spacers in that same red. There's your liners. You got steel liners on this guy, which is pretty cool. There's the spine of the knife. I do have this tuned up for my buddy. It is dead centered. And there's the pivot area. You see those phosphor bronze washers in there. I do wish Benchmade would go to bearings at some point, but I'm not going to hold my breath for that. But yeah, when I got it from him, it was kind of like stiff, right? So you had to do the old pull and whip, you know, to get it down. It worked. You know how Benchmades are. You kind of got to adjust it, and you got to work the trifecta, right? So you got to try to tune that perfectly so you get centered, you know, you get a centered knife or fairly centered knife. This one seems to be almost dead nuts. You get decent action, because if it's too tight, even on the flick, it's like stiff, right? So you got to get decent action and then the blade play, right? And this obviously has a little bit of play, but it is very, very minor. And it does that. So in all, this is actually now, I have it Loctite in that position. This is a very good action on a Benchmade, I would say, as of right now. But that's not perfect, right? Because you still got that blade play. But it's acceptable on a Benchmade, which is one of the things I don't like about Benchmade. You know, Spyderco's the same way. You kind of have to accept not having a perfect knife in terms of blade play, centering, and action. It's very rare. You can see here the edge he has on this is just stupid. Of course, I'm cutting paper. I'm not cutting anything crazy, but you get the gist. It does a very good job. And this is a aftermarket edge, so keep that in mind. But yeah, overall, I really like this knife. I think it's a good knife. I think the Super Freek and the Mini Freek are very, very, cool knives. I love the look of them. I like the shape. I like the way the handle contours, and then that blade kind of rides up a little bit there on that ramp. And then it's kind of a very, like, it kind of looks like a very basic drop point, but just the way they do it, I don't know, something about it just looks really nice to me. I've always dug this design. It feels like when you look at the design, you can see that it would be kind of a little bit thicker and maybe ergonomic in your hand. And I think a full-size Freek would probably fit my hand better, yet I may not want that large size. So I don't know, you know, it's something like this, but just, you know, a 1/4 inch longer all around would be perfect for me. But the way it is, this is a cool knife. Stay tuned for a full review. Big shout out to Joe for letting me check it out. And those are my thoughts, first impressions. I'm not taking this apart. Benchmade's, anything with an axis lock is an absolute nightmare to take apart and put together. It's just not worth my time, especially because I've done it before and I know what's in there. So I like really recommend with these knives that you just spray them out and maybe drop a little KPL in, tune the pivot, or do the old Nick Shabazz, where I believe what he does is he takes this screw out. He essentially takes it apart without taking the scales apart. So you still have the scales together, and then you kind of like slide the washers back in as you slide the blade in, and then get it through the pivot, because the freaking yeah, it's a nightmare. I haven't done it in a long time, so I mean, it could be easier now for all I know, but I'm not messing with it, especially not on my knife. So that's it. That's the Mini Freek first impressions and up close look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave me a comment if you're a big fan of the Super Freek, or if you prefer the full size Freek, or something in between. I know there's actually like an original Freek and Mini Freek, I think, right? Both sizes, I think, that are like S30V, just plain Jane with like that peel, with that rubbery shit on the handles, which that's kind of what these were born out of. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.